Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Friday edition, Race 1 edition of the EKN Debrief here on Facebook Live. Got a couple people tuning in. David bounced over to comments so that we can see what's going on.
Calm down. I'm handling the production. You be the voice.
All right, I'll do that. All right. Today's broadcast brought to you by a hazy IPA. Look how hazy that is. Pretty good. Dave, what do you got? Rum and Coke?
Pretty much, yeah.
We decided to get the heck out of the track and get back here. Almost 8 o'clock here, local time in Newcastle, back at our Airbnb. I like what's right there, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Great sponsor plug.
That is, yeah, Bacardi. Alicia right in the back there. She's, I appreciate that. We are having tacos tonight for dinner, which is great. So we're getting ready to go here. What did Tyler DeGraff just say? Tyler asking us a quick question. Are there going to be podium presentation ceremonies at the end of each day? By chance, yes, every day. We just wrapped them up, so for sure, that's ready to rock. We'll say hello to Carlos Calderon. Good stuff. Marianne Gilmore saying, hey, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So the day is done. First day of competition in the books of the Super Mile, the 1.1 mile, 17-turn track at Newcastle. David, all in all, the very first thing, great racing. Second thing, no red flags. That's the first kind of checklist thing that makes me happy.
No red flags. We had, I believe, one flip.
The kid got right up though. That's right.
The kid got Cameron Myers, who actually wrecked really hard at SummerNationals. I think it was last year or maybe the year before that, but got right back up. Kart was more mangled than he was, but a couple incidents here and there, but nothing too major. Starts were pretty clean all day long.
I thought so too.
A couple little argy-bargy situations.
But we didn't have one of the
muzzles here and there.
We didn't have one of the full yard sales in turn one.
No. And again, pushback bumpers are helping that.
They were also starting really, really deep in almost the braking zone.
David Coates was doing a really late green flag, so and that helps. A slower speed. People aren't revved up all the way to maximum velocity. Going into the opening corner. That helps. So overall, a good day, great weather, a little chilly in the morning.
Sunny and 75.
It was sunny and 75. Tomorrow, it's going to keep getting warmer and warmer as we go on through the weekend, but perfect weather for racing. Yeah,
no doubt about that. And all in all, I think it was interesting. I think one of the things that I wrote down in some of my notes was the fact that we had a bunch of new winners. We had drivers who had won earlier in their younger careers, kind of getting their first races in bigger races. There were some DQs. There were some weight DQs. I didn't. A couple of technical DQs. I think more in the pre-final. I'm not sure if there was anything in tech at the end of the races, and a couple of on-track DQs as well. Of course, a new race directing program with Bo Barfield and Neil Strickland and John Maskey. Kind of going back and forth, doing different deals. And, of course, SKUSA has the video marshaling system. So there were a couple of race DQs that came as well.
Yeah, weight, obviously that's always an issue wherever you go. I didn't see any other issues except until the finals. But, again, we're running 16-lap mini events for the senior categories. Micro and mini were 14. So it's a longer stand, I think over 20 minutes on racetrack for the main event. So they're really long main events. So maybe people didn't quite manage the fuel in their gas tanks as they should have. But it's it's part of racing. You have your technical DQs, you have the weight DQs, you had some with just being a little too wide and some on track stuff.
I know, too wide. Race Liberante too wide. The hub slid out. Here's a question for you, David. Carlos Calderon, how was the new officiating? That's one of your thoughts. I know that when you and I walk through the pits, the crazy thing is we don't normally get, oh my God, the officiating was so great. We always hear when people complain about it, right? We don't really get much about the happy parts of it.
Well, officiating is a job that nobody wants. No. It's not the job you take to be, praised at all the time. It's a job that takes a lot of shit. You're going to take all the shit throughout the weekend, no matter what you're doing. Yeah. Even if you're making the right call, you're still going to get shit because people are going to fight with you about the call, no matter what it is. Because we're not in the building with them, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on right now. We've heard some bad stories as far as certain calls that were made that decided the actual winner. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but I don't think there were any other than the two thing or that major one that we heard of, I don't think there were any other issues that were really on track that would to signify, what side are you on?
Yeah, agreed. Do you want to just jump in? Did you put senior on the top for a reason, or is that me at the end? Do you want to?
I haven't touched those papers. Those are as I received them.
Let's go senior at the end. Let's talk about KA100 Junior because K100 Junior. It was in the end. I think we had 6 drivers within 2 seconds, and then you go further back. Really, the top 10 all within 3 seconds. It was a barn burner of a race. It kicked things off. K100 Junior, and I don't know. I think that it was kind of hectic because I wasn't sure who was. Obviously John Burke ends up scoring the race win. He almost flipped. I think almost at one point. Early on in the race, he came out of the ski jump, got into the inner curbing on turn number 7. I thought he was going to be upside down, but he was a big tank slapper for sure.
Essentially, there's 7 drivers, I think, in the lead pack, and none of them wanted to sit and settle in. So that made it for a chaotic race. But
that's exactly that.
John Burke showed speed at the USPKS race here last month, and he's been able to translate that into a victory today. So it was a really good run. And then Carson Morgan, the 2-time Mini Swift SKUSA Pro Tour champion, he's getting his stride in the junior ranks because that's something that we haven't quite seen is Morgan at the front, especially at the Pro Tour. Last year we didn't really see him at the front. So it's good to see him up there. And then Logan Adams, looked like he had the speed to win, just made a little bit of a mistake. I forgot what corner it was, but allowed Burke to really get away from everybody.
Well, the thing about this race, I guess it was our first main event, and micro and mini, we always see great strategy. These drivers will work together, and they drop the guy behind them 2 by 2. These guys, a number of times they had a chance just to line up 2, 3 carts, and they would have been able to pull away. What did we see instead? Man, they were they just never stopped racing at all. And that's why it was such a huge pack at the end. I thought there could have been a couple of breakaways.
Well, I don't think anybody wanted to work with each other. I think maybe if Mateo and John Burke could have hooked up, teammates.
Well, they're all Tony karts up front.
That's true. That
literally the top 8. The only one not on a Tony kart in the top. So but even Cameron Weinberg on a Nitro, right? Yeah. So top 7 all on Tony karts. But you're right, different teams, right? Different teams. Yeah,
well,
top
OTK,
7.
Sorry,
OTK all up front. But you're right. If a teammate maybe have hooked up, it would have happened. But we didn't have any teammates. They were really a bunch of different teams scrapping it out.
If you see me cry, it's because of the onions.
Oh, Alicia's cutting onions right now.
Sorry.
So nobody wanted to work with each other. That was really the main thing. And we saw that change a little bit in the X30 Junior race later in the day.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What other races? Christian Miles was coming forward from deep in the field.
Yeah.
But kind of got hit a wall. There was just nobody to work with him, and he kind of got to the end where there was really nowhere else he was going to go.
He got up with Danny Dzelski there, and, as they kept fighting up front, they kept inching forward, but the pace wasn't quite what the leaders were doing when they weren't fighting. So he needed a little bit more schmozzling up front.
What's schmozzling going on?
It's easier to say.
In the end, John Burke with a really big win. Congrats to John. Carson Morgan second, as you said. Logan Adams was third. Aiden Levy qualified on the pole position. I think you got to watch throughout this entire weekend. The crazy thing about it is it's the entire Pro Tour jammed into 9 days, and it's interesting. And we'll talk about it a little later on. But potentially for some drivers, it's going to give them an opportunity to get a lot of seat time and get better and better. Some of the drivers that don't get a chance to race a lot. I talked to Philip Arscott. He said the same thing. He drives once a month at GoPro, and he said the thing for him is it's going to be stamina, because he just hasn't driven that much. He said that he ran the USPKS race and his arms were so stiff that he actually went out and bought hand grip exercises because his forearms were so tough, or so tight after that USPKS race.
But it certainly helps when you're running up front to be on pace.
And in a good car.
Do you want to go in order, or are we just going to go?
What's next? Let's go K100 Senior. Right. David, can we do that? Move to that one there.
Whatever you want to do. Right? It's your show.
I knew that was going to happen. Scott Barnes says, #beat David Cole. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Shout out to Colin Vasquez, Brian Traver coming on as well, Josh Hunt. Bill Talley says smash burgers are the best. I agree. Aaron Stanfield says the most thankless job is the officials. No doubt about that. My wife just asked if I'm watching Laverne and Shirley Schmazel.
That is Wisconsin. That's right.
Austin Pepper Corporation.
Right. That was a Wisconsin show.
Yeah, of course it was Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Maybe that's where Tim got it from.
That's very, very, very possible.
I thought he came up with an original.
Those of you tuning in, if you have any questions of things that potentially happen throughout the day that we can help you out with, and we can either answer them right now, we'd be happy to answer them here. We'll get this. Make sure that we're all working together on this. We'll make it interactive. If there's something we don't know, we'll find out when we get back to the track and bring it to you tomorrow for sure. All in all, I looked. This particular race was really, really interesting, KA 100 Senior, because the early group kind of developed a really good start for Austin Osborne, last year's champion, jumping from 10th into the fight. So he was right in there as well. He ended up getting some help a little later on when Adams came through the field. To me, big win for Brandon Lemke, no doubt about that, right? He scores the victory for Franklin on the Merlin. But Garrett Adams coming from dead last. I want to say that they had I was talking to Estina, they had the wrong washer, I think, or something like that in the spark plug.
I talked right to the source, Mark Dismore.
Give me the scoop. What happened?
And he said he hadn't worked on the thing since USPKS.
That's a different deal, right?
He said blame all the customers because Garrett gets whatever they get. And
all right.
So no, and it's funny that the USPKS rule and SKUSA rule are different. I would think with it being the KA engine, it would be the same across the board. So I guess
let's fix that, by the way.
So I guess USPKS is you can run whatever washer you can, whatever you have. Here it's a certain height.
Yeah,
you have to have that.
Yeah, that changes where the plug goes.
So,
into the chamber.
So they had whatever washer they had in it from USPKS. He probably didn't even change the spark plug at all. So, but again, Garrett's working on his own stuff. He's 16 years old. Yeah. He has the ability to do that. It's just something he missed. And again, like I said, Mark said, he's working on his own stuff. I can't be everywhere for everyone. So
I like that. Well, listen,
just something you miss.
He makes a mistake. So it moves him at the pre-found to the tail of the field. He was the absolute show in this race. Coming from the tail of the field, Garrett was, man, just absolute barn burner, fast lap of the race, ends up getting into the lead group. And we just kind of held on for the last couple of races. It was absolutely stellar to watch him come through the field. I thought it was amazing.
It was. I had no idea because, he was up front in the pre-final, and then I started going out on the racetrack to take pictures, and all of a sudden I saw him in the back. I'm like, oh, something must have happened at the start.
Yeah.
I thought it was contact. I didn't realize until I looked at the results, like, oh, he had a DQ in the pre-final.
Yeah.
So, but as you said, Brandon Lemke was able to get away. They really have, they love 100cc racing under Merlin Nation. I mean,
that's it.
Brandon raced the Yamahas for all those years, from sportsman all the way up to senior. So that's, as we saw in the junior category, senior racing is just as good. Lemke would, though, just a little bit better than everybody else, aside from Garrett Adams, who was just on a tear. But, you give it maybe, 18 lap final. I think Garrett Adams.
Totally agree. Here's what I want to throw it here right now real quick. Alicia says, wrong one. Alicia says she's been there with spark plug. So she had an issue with the wrong spark plug in it as well.
Equal spark plug. I just got instead of the Denso, we got an NGK, and I got bumped when the winner was actually cheating.
Gina French says hello, by the way. Who was it? Who was it at the Rotax deal that got bumped?
John Crow.
Was it? I thought it was John.
Remember that forever.
Mine was Rotax.
John Crow.
At Oklahoma,
2009. I want to say it was 2009 when we were there. Oklahoma. Walked away from everybody. I think Mike Daniels ended up being runner-up, so thus he got the championship. But John Crow, I mean, everybody knew it. He had it, and again, it's not really that big of a performance issue. But again, it was,
the name brand.
It was
no, it was a washer.
You had to have the specific washer. I don't even think he had a washer in it.
It wasn't the spec plug. He actually didn't even have the washer in it. They put it back in with the washer, and again, it puts the plug deeper down into the combustion chamber, as we all know.
So,
Phil Pignataro, will thank you very much for the kind notes on the announcing. I appreciate that. We'll get to the shifter race in a little bit. Jason Ewers asking where we're broadcasting from. This is the Airbnb that we have in Newcastle that we love. We're back here for the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals. We're here for 16 days. What do you want? We got Mark Trailer. This is interesting. Yeah, Mark Trailer says, what do you think of future Pro Tours going to this format with two triple headers from Thursday to Sunday, just not back-to-back, cut costs and schedule issues for both racers and SKUSA?
We'll know more on Sunday night, Monday morning.
Well, my thing about this is it's like if you're going to have an actual national series, it's not like, if all you're caring about is racing, what are we going to do? Let's just run 6 races over 1 week. That's the Grand Nationals, right? That's the runoffs, whatever it may be. You want to go to different racetracks. It's a balance of budget. We're racing. It costs money to go racing, right? It's. I don't know. That's an interesting one for me.
I say no.
Let's see what they said. Let's see on Sunday. Let's see what the drivers say about triple headers, right? In a lot of stuff, Road Indy, we're running triple headers.
As we talked about in the outlap, it's a lot of it on Sunday might come down to equipment. Just guys are breaking stuff, and could be running out of this and that, and and how many times you got to go through the engine.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, here's one for you. Oh no, Jake Drew says, I think I should come out and join the party next week in X30 Seniors.
Spoiler.
The shoe, Jake Drew. Yeah, he definitely be a spoiler. I like that one. Here's Tyler DeGraff. Shout out to Chente Salas for our wicked drive and pro shifter. We'll get to that in a bit, so let's not jump on that. Danny Formel, 5 guys on Sunday night. He only eat 1 cheat meal a week for Danny on Sunday night.
I'll buy bread.
I don't know. Do you go 5 guys or do you go pizza?
He likes bread.
He does love bread.
Then why wouldn't you go pizza?
Yeah, but 5 guys is so good.
No, you go pizza. I mean, if you love bread,
yes, pizza. I'm a pizza guy. I'm totally pizza guy.
I'm a pizza guy.
Yeah, see, there's Mike Smith coming in saying more venues, different locales, more variables. That's a serious thing.
Mike Smith has no idea what he's talking about.
The guy that never leaves California.
He doesn't leave California, period. Wow. Like he goes to KPX and stuff like that, but that's it.
That's true. This is true. Super shade.
I go full out, everything in sight. Perfect. Pizza, 5 guys, and then you throw a little Chinese food in there, maybe.
And some Doritos and orange juice.
All right. So again, shout out to Brandon Lemke, big run there in K100 Senior, but Garrett Adams again, tremendous job. Let's move to the next category on the list, David. We don't need that one. That's senior. Micro Swift. Essentially, 3-driver battle up front, and nobody wanted to lead. They went back and forth, and Jack Iliff went to the lead. I thought maybe too early. He wasn't able to make it happen. Vivek Cantham was right in the middle of the fight, and then Asher Osteen ended up coming to the front. It was, I thought, all in all, it was a pretty good race.
Well, again, Newcastle is a flat-out track for these guys.
Pretty much,
so, the draft is very key. If you have a 2-driver fight at the front, it's a little bit easier to kind of decide what you want to do. But when there's 3 up there, it's like, okay, am I going to work with somebody? Am I going to what's the deal? So I think it caught Iliff out a little bit because he was used to racing just one person last month. This time he had to go against 2, and Asher really looks strong. I think he really liked being out front in the lead. He led the majority of the race and was able to keep both Jack Iliff and Vivek back at the line when the checkered flag waved. 2 things right now. We'll move on to the next category. First off, my good friend Aggie saying hello from Cambridge. Alicia, you want to come and say hi?
Hi, my love.
That's our neighbors back up in Canada.
For me.
And then Jason Ewers says, boys, Sunday night Ale Emporium, best wings and pizza in the state. That sounds like That sounds like a challenge. All right, Ewers, tell us where it is.
Buying.
Oh, yeah. Jason can most definitely buy. Mateo, this is a question we don't have, actually. What engine builder won the most? That's a really good idea. We should find that out, David. I'll give you 5 minutes.
Way too much work. It's on the laptop. Laptop's not open.
All right. Listen, when it comes from a guy like this, we got to listen to it again. This is a comment. So we'll start with Mike Smith. We don't have to listen to him.
No.
Regardless of class, who do you think is going to we'll get that. Who's going to get better as the weekend goes on? We're going to talk about that in a second, actually. But Gary Carlton, true national championship, 1 street course, 1 tight technical track, 1 big fast flowing track, and then 1 oval.
Oh,
dude, I like that idea a lot.
First 3 work. I don't think anybody's going to do an oval.
Why not?
They want to prep for cars, they will.
That'd be scary.
I
like it, Gary. I like Gary's street course, technical track, and a big fast flowing track like Streets of Willow.
We had it in 2014, but it
what's that? Oh, Modesto. No, Modesto. I don't know. Yeah, I like that. I think it gets great call from Gary. I like that a lot.
No,
so listen, hold on.
You got to have changing.
Jason Ewers will buy Fishers, Indiana. I like to hear that. I might even get Janowski to come. Maybe he'll buy. No, Janowski.
Another terrible driver.
Joe Janowski, don't all buy. Oh, I can't reach my wallet right now. Actually, I can't say that because at PRI show a year ago, Joe took me out for dinner to a fantastic meal, so I can't say it.
Where was I?
Joe and I had a great meal. I was there by myself. Remember I rolled in for a couple days?
I probably felt sorry for you.
Good possibility. No, it was good. We had a great meal, Joe and I had a great chat. It was awesome. So yes, I probably owe Joe dinner, to be honest with you. I would pick that up. All right. So Asher Osteen, Jack Iliff, Vivek Campton, 1, 2, 3 in the micro category, but we got to give a shout out to Caleb Tarter. He started deep in the field and rolled his way up to the front as well. Yeah. Look where Caleb started because he was rocking through the field.
13th up to now.
There you go.
4th.
Yeah. So an 8 position improvement over 20, like middle of the pack. So that's solid, I thought. We will get back to that question, though, of from Mike later on. Regardless of class, who do you think is going to get better as the weekend goes on?
Well, what class is he talking about?
Yeah, well, he said regardless of class. It makes trying to make it hard.
So we need to pick one guy that we know is going to
get better throughout the weekend, right? Ryan Norberg. I think Ryan Norberg will get better.
Salas.
Chente, what do you want?
He was
dude. He's hold on.
So he's got to work on the other sessions to be up front.
Chente Salas, literally the fastest driver of all the shifter kart drivers,
but he didn't win.
I get that.
So he's got to improve. You just asked me who should improve, and he'll probably improve.
But he literally was literally the fastest driver. That's pretty impressive, man, for a guy that just jumped into Pro 2 last year. Full Gas Motorsports. That's Mark, Jake, and Gina French. Mark French saying, "What's up, guys? How are you, dude? Good stuff." All right, let's jump into let's do the shifter thing right now. We don't really. You can glaze over G1 and G2, sorry, bad boys, because there's just not enough guys in it. An issue for Joe Rook. He ends up winning the race, but comes in light, which, Joe, what the hell? Have a sandwich tonight.
Beer, at least.
Drink some beer and eat some bread. Pull the form out. Go in the other direction.
Stop working out.
Yeah, that's true.
Stop working out. Or
anyways,
add more muscle.
He's light. And I never understood anybody in shifter that doesn't come in 5 pounds heavy because the shifter car doesn't matter. It's talent, man. You got to drive that thing. Anyway, Scott Skitchy Barnes ends up with the race win. He was pushing pretty hard. 1:14.4 for Barnes, 1:13.7 for Rook. So he's absolutely badass fast. Actually, the cool thing is it's Joe Rook. It's the G1 winner, a G1 fast guy because what do you call it? Needs some speed. Skitchy needs some speed. Nathan Stewart, 45 up. Nathan Stewart, baby. It's a hashtag Fireball night. Him and Rook were together the whole time. Nathan's a badass. I'm telling you, he's fast.
Oh, I mean, and they were catching up on the S2 guys that they started after. So
that's true.
A lot of speed with the faster of the master drivers in the shifter category.
Okay, go to Pro 2 where we are Pro 2. Another old guy coming up big time. Yeah, Chente Salas was unbelievably fast. Ended up working his way up to second on the factory kart, which I still haven't got a chance to go really look in deep to. I'll do that in the morning. Jordan Musser, 4-time Masters champion on the SKUSA Pro Tour in the shifter kart category. He's going to run Pro 2. We're cheering for him because we like the old guys, right? And he's not even that old, Musser, but he might be 40 actually. Is he 40 yet?
I'll look it up.
He's got to be up there.
I mean,
he's got more gray hair than I do.
Yeah, how many did he win? 4 Rotax Grand National Championships?
4. He won 3 in senior and 1 in DD2.
Damn it, man. Listen, we don't throw legendary status around, but we're talking 4 championships and 4 here in the Pro Tour.
He was a Danny Formal before the Danny Formal.
That's true. Formal before Danny, when Danny still had his little race.
When
Rotax for life tattoo.
He was the micro guy. Yeah.
So Musser ends up getting the race win. Loving the cue ball, loving the eKartingNews visor strip. That's the kind of the iconic Jordan Musser. Chente Salas put a lot of pressure on him. Baylor Griffin had led early. Now what we got there? Dave Polly, yeah, Big Dave. I was nervous listening from my office. Dave's not even here, so yeah, he's listening from he's as nervous listening in the office as he is at the track. I like that.
Jordan Musser is a year younger than me.
Wow. All right, so he's all yours, babe.
No, that's not what I meant.
So he's 38 years old then. Wow, so 38. So yeah, there you go.
He just turned 39 in June.
He's old.
He's old. Wow. But he's still
not as old as Nathan Stewart though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not as old as me, that's for sure. But listen, if you can still run a shifter kart, I don't care. That's badass. But he ends up winning over Chente Salas. And again, as David said, Chente is definitely one of the drivers who could dial things in, get a better start, get off to a better run, qualifying tomorrow. You know what? Listen, we talk a lot, David, about confidence and momentum, right? Chente turning the fast lap like that. He better roll out. He better be pulled tomorrow, rolling out with confidence, knowing he can get the job done.
Yeah, again, they're going to go do their homework, figure out why they weren't quick early on in the day, especially early in the final, and try and translate it to go over the whole complete round.
Who's this Jason Morris guy that keeps wanting to shout at?
No idea.
I've never heard of this dude before.
No idea.
I don't know.
Probably a guy who can't put tires on.
That's a definite possibility. Yeah. You're right. And Taylor Griffin led early in the Pro 2 category. Gavin Bailiff was right there in second, but of course, Musser and Salas kept coming. I keep saying Chalice because Chente Salas. They kind of took over and moved forward. So we'll see what happens there. This is shout out to Josh Pearson too. End up sticking the motor early in the race, 3 laps in. But dude, he was qualified P2. 14 years of age, X30 national number 3 last year in the junior category, running USF 2000 this year. And I like the jump over to shifters. I think it'll be good for Josh, but didn't get a chance to show it in the main event with a stuck piston.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he bounces back tomorrow. Had an issue at the start, even couldn't get it. They had to go around.
Yeah.
Couldn't keep the clutch in it. But again, first shifter start ever that I recall. I don't even think he's tested, really, to be honest. That's one thing I haven't asked.
We'll figure that, John Bonanno. Well, let's watch that. Let's not watch the word old, fellas. John, we say this: embrace it, dude. You're old. Just embrace it.
I'm old.
You're like a fine wine, John. Like a great whiskey.
Bourbon?
Ooh, don't start with me in the bourbon. That'll be good.
I can pour you some.
I've got some American honey over there. I'll try a little later on. Christian Salas, there we go. I like this. Here's some input. Chente started from the back of the main. Someone took him out in the heat. He moved up 17 spots. That's a proud mama right there. I like that. That's good. This kid's fast, man. I'm telling you. And again, on the factory kart too, which we have to learn more about. That's a program that the Musgraves have put together, their own chassis. Let's move to X30 Junior. David Rawlson Performance Group, the sponsor of that particular class. And wow, I brought it up in the broadcast. I'll start with this. He didn't end up getting the race win, but over the second half of last year, Max Opolsky kind of surprised us to a certain extent. He kind of came on super strong. Really kind of dominated at the streets of Lancaster Grand Prix. Is he going to be able to take that into the SummerNats? And he did. He was fast there too. Opolsky really has put himself up the front as one of the drivers, I think, to go after the championship in X30 Junior.
Yeah, he was fast in the winter months. We know at the Challenge in Americas, Cal Speed Weekend, he was quick there. Was going to be at Tucson, but couldn't make it there. Yep. So, from the end of last year to the beginning of this year was really quick. And we're obviously had to wait for everything to happen with the COVID-19, but is really kept his game up and continues to increase it as we go along. So, and we thought it was just going to be him and Jace Park. Because,
hold on. What I thought it was going to be was Alex Stanfield. Qualifies on pole by a significant margin, ends up getting pushed back in the main event, fought his way all the way back forward, got all the way to third, got all the way to second, and then decided he was going to try to go to the lead. And led for a time, but man, nobody was helping him at all, and he really got rolled at that point. I thought Stanfield had the thing handled, to be honest. But every time he led, give up to Jace Park over the ski jump, the right into the left hand turn 8, boom, pounced every time. I thought that was super impressive.
It's a great place to pass if you have the cart control under you, and you have the undertaking ability to do it. It's a great passing spot. We've seen a number of guys pass there, some successful, some unsuccessful. But it's a very unique area to pass. But early on, it was those two kind of broke away with Opolsky and Jace Park, but then everybody caught back up again, including Stanfield.
When Stanfield got there, they kind of started racing again, and that's what stacked them back up. Right? Because literally it could have been Stanfield. When Stanfield got behind
he ran them down.
Actually, he ran them down, got behind Opolsky. I think maybe Park. And literally probably could have pushed away. And I said on the PA, man, when he rolled them in so fast, why not try to go by and see if he can't pull away? He didn't get a chance to do it. He went by in turn 1, and then by the time they got to 8, Park was right back on the inside being super aggressive, which I like to see about Jace. That was he dropped the hammer there. And really what happened was that Alex just kind of got caught out that there was nobody helping him. And there's no other cross-link drivers up there with him, all by himself. And really just kept getting caught out. And when everybody else streamed up, DeTulio, Paul Bacuse, when everybody else got there, Jack Jeffers was the man on the move for a while there too. Nobody cared. And all of a sudden it was gloves off. All gloves were off, right? And it was all bets were off. And they went after it. And honestly, I thought Stanfield was going to get it in the end. On the racetrack, the driver came home with the victory was Jace Park. Tremendous run for Jace. We talk about officiating. He got dinged for what did they call it? Blocking? What did
they say? 3-second penalty for blocking. So him and John Burke and another driver.
So they call Park for blocking. It's on the penultimate lap. Opolsky trying to get by him. Opolsky actually still able to get by him. So I guess, I think he probably made one move, came over. Opolsky's making the pass. He continued to move. And this is just secondhand stuff we're getting, so don't take this as gospel. But Opolsky is still able to make the move, and he gets by. But they still penalized him. Jace, of course, then went and was able to get back by. It's a weird thing for Dave and I talking about it simply because of the fact that the pass still got made. It's not like he blocked and held him off. The pass was still done. But nonetheless, he got a three second or three position, Dave.
There's three second penalty.
3 second penalty, dropping him back, and he ends up because of that
6.
Yeah. He ends up 6th because so many guys were in the lead group. So
Burke was right there, and he gets pushed back to 9th.
Yeah,
and then that elevates Brent Cruz to the top of the podium. So victory for him.
In my mind, I think that both Park and Stanfield are going to come back with an absolute vengeance tomorrow. But yeah, Brent Cruz was the man on the move too, working his way forward and got himself in the right place at the right time. He was out of it. Like, wasn't he out, maybe even outside the top 10 at one point or 9th or something? And he was able to work his way to the win. So pretty impressive run there for Brent Cruz to score the victory. Max Opolsky 2nd, and DeTulio ends up in 3rd. And Dave, you talked about the fact that Carson Morgan's coming back into the fight, fast lap of the race in that run as well.
Brent Cruz down to 10th on the 3rd lap, so worked his way.
There you go.
His way forward.
David working that phone. What else we got? There's a couple quick things. John Banana asking a very crucial question: what's that in the background? Bacardi or Kettle?
Bacardi.
It's Bacardi. It's all Dave drinks.
I drink rum, but prefer the Bacardi.
If you were to buy a bottle of rum, is it going to be Bacardi or anything else?
Bacardi first.
Yeah, that's it.
You have orders.
Jason Ewers, are you drinking a hazy IPA? That's exactly what I'm drinking. Good for you, Jason. Fantastic. Larry Mardan, not here, just saying hello, I guess. What's this from Graham Henkel?
That's a lot of words.
No, that's a lot. We're SKUSA noobs, but any future national series should visit at least 4 tracks. More than 4 gets increasingly challenged for racers to commit, in my observation. Thanks, guys. This would be a funnier if David Cole was hanging with Howden on the beer. So he's got a rum and coke, Graham. I'll say this right now. We're in the and if you've listened to any of our podcasts before, we're in this window where 3 is pretty much the exact right program. There's a lot of money being spent. There's lots of different races, right? Yeah, SKUSA could go to 4. USPKS could go to 4. Challenge of the Americas could go to 4. Everything could go to 4. Florida Winter Tour could go to 4. If everybody goes to 4, then nobody's racing anything else. We like 3 because it allows you to run a pro tour. It allows you to run a regional program as well, maybe support your clubs or whatever it may be. If 12 is the number, 10 to 12 is the number once a month racing, we don't like the national series going too much over that.
No.
Do you agree with that, Dave?
Less is more. I just keep it simple at that. We before SuperNats became its own standalone event, that was the finale. Yeah. We had Spring Nats, we had the Summer Nats, and SuperNats. Yeah. And it really worked out well. Adding the Winter Nats certainly, it allowed the SuperNats to be its standalone on its own, where we didn't have, a lot of different drivers coming in and ruining things for the championship chasers. So yeah, 3 events. And I like the way that Gary said it. You got to have those different type facilities to kind of separate, drivers who are good here. Because, if you're good at Newcastle, this is a perfect format for you, really, to be honest, because it's, even though we're going to go in the reverse direction, it's technically the same racetrack.
We got to turn some lights on here pretty soon or what?
Yeah, we might need to.
I'm trying to see the meat, but I didn't want to.
Crank some lights on in the back. That's good. Here's some quick questions. Mike Carodi said, did I miss the Chente update? Yes, we did a major Chente Salas stroke job. You missed that. John Bonanno says, did you finish shifter? I didn't hear you shout out to DSH. We probably should have. Devin Smith Harden coming off that big victory at the Battle of the Brickyard. Got a great start. Was able to work his way to 2nd, I think, at one point. So he had a pretty good run as well. Grayson Eves, thanks for the debrief. What?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's good. No, that works. No, put it back on. That's good. It's just we should.
Hi, Grayson.
There, we just got to set that up. That's great.
Where are my sunglasses?
Matt Langford says Brent Cruz never out of it. I would agree, Matt, with that. I can't argue that at all. Danny,
and he's not doing triple duty because I don't think he's running the dirt car this weekend.
Oh, so you said he ran the dirt car at the USPKS race, right?
So he's
I want to get down and watch him run.
He's probably getting sleep this weekend.
True. Danny Formouse said, how did the 175 KZ battle look from the outside? Shit, it was boring. Thanks, Danny.
Except for that last lap.
Except for right in front of us.
By the way, he took out my microphone. So one year he took out my mic cord. This year he's taken out my microphone. So he owes me a little bit.
And he just walked away from his cart, too.
No, Alicia said he walked away. Alicia was not impressed, Danny. You walked away from your cart right there. I will say this. And that's another one too. Kyle Wick made a move to the. Was it Badozo he made the move?
Mm-hmm.
So he makes a move. Wick makes a hardcore move. We're already past that. He makes a hardcore move to the inside of Badozo for the win in turn number 3. And I say this 1,000 times. I say it in my car racing announcing too. When you own the apex, you own the exit. So Wick makes the move to the inside. Andrews, of course, going to try to hold on the outside. They get together. In my mind, Wick's got the inside. He made the move. The move's done. There's some rubbing for sure. And as they come back across the racetrack, we're on top of it because where we are in the scales, I'm looking right down at it. Andrew's on the outside. He's trying to hold on. I don't know if he dropped the wheel because it happened so crazy, but he kind of came. Did he?
He was in the grass.
Okay, so then he came back across, and it was a full transition.
Wick around.
Spins Wick around. Wick's in the middle of the racetrack. Because I was wondering when they were bumping, could Formal come around the right side, but he couldn't. There's no way. It wasn't 55 inches wide. He would have had to drop a wheel for sure. And I'm watching this thing happen. And all of a sudden, Wick spins. He collects Formal. Formal's in the wall underneath the deal, and Badozo able to clean through. So Badozo got lucky there because I think that was a good pass by Wick, aggressive. And I think when you own the apex, as I said, you own the exit. So that one didn't kind of play out the way I kind of thought it was going to be. But nonetheless, it was pretty crazy. And Danny, that was it was wild. Again, 175 KZ. What happened you said happened to Myers? A chain to Myers?
Chain. Yeah, I mean, he had the race pretty much locked up until how many laps? Well, maybe about 5 laps to go.
Maybe 5 laps to go. Yeah,
the chain came off, so he's really having an issue with drive gears because last weekend was the sprocket just disintegrated, and this week it's chain. So hopefully he'll get that remedied for the next 5 rounds because again, 1 drop for the championship, and he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
What do you feel like on this question from Carlos Calderon? I'm just realizing that the quick 2-time triple header format doesn't give a racer an opportunity to learn from the precedence of the officiating. How does another class learn from block call to make sure they don't repeat the same thing? I don't think I really agree with that, Carlos, because the bottom line is everybody's got to watch what's going on. Most of the teams are watching. It's really just it's two triple headers back to back. You know what? If you can't absorb what happened in the first triple header in the 3/8 before you get back on the racetrack, that's your problem. I don't know. I just think again, it's a new race directing deal with Bo Barfield and John Maskey. I think that's probably one of the big things. People have to get a feel for what they're doing, and I guess I kind of understand if there was that couple of months in between, you could watch video, you could figure out what happened. This is just baptism by fire. You got to soak everything up quickly.
Pretty much that's the scenario. It's, we're, as Matt Langford's saying, we're 6 races in 10 days.
Well, let's just do it.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah. We were shut down for 3 months. We're doing it.
Yes, we have different race directors, but essentially it's the same rules. They haven't changed anything. Yeah. So, but we do, need to understand again, race officiating is not exactly a perfect science. Not everybody does it the correct way, or not everybody does it the way that other people do it. So I do understand that, but again, if you just go out and lead every single lap, you don't have to worry about it.
All right, let's bring up CC Roberts because this works pretty perfect. Yeah, Roberts back on top in Masters. What did the last lap look like? We'll jump into the X30 Masters category. Adam Pettit led from the pole. He's qualified on pole, won the Sal Esparcio won the pole. Adam won the pre-final, led the first half of the race. Scott able to get back by, didn't let him really get away and kind of reeled back in. What the last couple laps looked like was Pettit leading, and then Roberts was there. They were going to go back and forth, but as they started the battle, John Crow closed up, and literally they were nose to tail over the last final lap. I just don't think Crow had enough, really a couple of tenths of a second off in terms of pace. He was there to clean up any mess, and Scotty had the spot. Adam was all on top of him, and I thought we'd have a better run to the line. We did have a pretty good run. I'm surprised that Adam didn't try it somewhere else. That's what he was trying to go. Remember, he's doing like a tighter run through turn 9.
55 thousandths at the line. That's pretty close.
Yeah, but that's a drag race.
Yeah, but that's what Newcastle is, because we moved the line, the finish line where it is. It's a drag race because we saw it in I forgot what class was it in, but we saw where he basically held up at the I-70 and then got a great giant run and then beat him to the line. It might have been one of the pre-finals, but it's what the racetrack gives us. You don't have to. I mean, you can pass earlier, but then you got to be perfect the rest of the way to the line. And if you're not perfect, they're going to get that draft and that drag race to the line.
Yeah,
again, I've never been a fan of this.
I know you don't like.
Never been a fan of it. I want to see just like what we're going to see next weekend. We're going to see a final corner and then the flag. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
I like it. Here's Jason Pettig asking a question. David, do you have this one? Do you guys know why the pole in X30 Senior was 5/10 clear of everyone? Who was on the pole again in X30 Senior? You got it right there.
Morris.
Yeah,
Was it Morris?
He probably cheated.
Everybody's cheating when they're fast.
Wow. You know what? I just think
it was 5/10. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that big of a gap.
I'll only throw this out here. They only got 4 laps in because it's seven. We mentioned this before. It's a 7-minute session. You leave the grid. You have to go all the way around the full super mile. So you got to say what, David? It's got to be a minute because you're warming the tires up. It's got to be a minute and a half almost before you even get to the timing strike. And then you're back around at a minute and what was the fast lap?
Sorry.
That's right. Minute 8.
1:15.
Oh, minute 50. Minute 8's the other one. 1:15. So you're back. We're literally like over almost 3 minutes before they even get the first lap in the books.
Yeah.
And again, the senior drivers did it again. Remember, they went out and dicked around a bit. They got behind each other and nothing happened. A lot of guys, I think, waited to the end. I would assume Bryson probably just went out and dropped the hammer, got a good draft off someone.
If I recall, I think he got a massive draft off us because in the KA, I think he went out by himself, didn't even draft. And I think he kind of did the same thing and just got this massive toe down the straightaway that just got him there. But I mean, his lap is a outlier if you look at it from a math term. I don't disagree with you. But it was still pole, and we'll talk. Did we talk about that race yet?
We're going to go there next.
But he still had the speed at the end of the day.
We'll wrap up with K100 Masters. Just 3 drivers. Nick Tucker, former X30 Masters champion. Now he runs Nitro Kart, wins a bunch of sprint car racing, which I think is kick-ass. He's always in victory lane. This guy can wheel, no doubt about it, Nick Tucker. He ends up winning. Jonathan Silva second and Ron Jenkinson third in the K100 Masters class. One more left. Save the big dogs to last. X30 Senior, PSL Karting, the sponsor of this class. Man, this one was so much fun to watch because there's so many guys in the league group.
It was the rookie versus a lot of veterans.
Bryson Morris. Then you've got I want to say 2-time Pro Tour winner Grayson Eves is on here.
He's got at least 2 wins.
I think he's got 2 wins. Braden's got 2 wins. Alicia does social media for him. You know how many? She doesn't know.
He's won at Sonoma and he won here.
And here, right? So SummerNats and SpringNats. That's what I thought. Yeah. So he's won both places. Braden, of course, USF 2000 champion. USF 2000 champion last year, coming off a victory in Indy Pro 2000. This kid's obviously following in the footsteps of guys like Kirkwood and rather, let's go with Pato Award and Colton Herta and Oliver Askew. And
on a new kart because he hadn't driven this kart
on the Will Power kart.
Yeah. He's typically an OTK driver. Did the VME, won the VME at SpringNats. But
good for you, Dave. Going back to
I think he's a driver to be able to bounce back. And
Grayson's telling us 3 wins.
So he might have won here twice.
So Grayson, tell us where he won.
So he won here twice. He won a SummerNats probably in 2017 and then probably again in 2018.
There you go, David Cole. Let's see if Grayson says you're right. Philip Arscott, of course, winning at the USPKS race, but he won the main in the rain, right? On Sunday.
Arscott,
was it in the rain?
It was in the rain, but of course, I mean, he's from the Pacific Northwest.
That's it.
He's going to be a rain racer.
So there you go. 2 Springnats, 1 summer. There you go.
Phoenix, yes.
Did he win at Phoenix?
He won at. He had to. So it had to have been Sonoma, Phoenix, and then one here.
So. And again, Brandon Jarskrak up there in the fight. Bryson again. I don't think you were punching above his weight class, but he's running against some big dogs. Eves, Arscott, multi-time Rotax Team USA driver, has been to Europe multiple times. Ryan Norber was 10th, I think, at the start of this thing, or whatever, and fought his way forward, got into the league 6, and ran really smart. Again, this is going to be a 5-time champion. He's going to get his 5th championship. P4 out of the gate, pretty solid. Start for Norberg. Jarsikrak was in the fight there as well. Luca Mars was coming through impressively. Luca and Paulie Massimino, I want to say they started like 11th and 12th together or something like that. They kind of came together forward. Jacob Gulick was in the front in the lead group for quite a while too. He fell back a bit. Olin Galley ends up in 12th. I'll throw that out here because he was 4 wheels off coming out of turn number 3 at the end of it, like in middle of the opening lap.
Yeah, basically he was able to get his spots back and then another position.
Yeah, where did Luca and Paulie start?
Luca started 12th
and 13th.
Paulie started in the 11th spot.
Okay, so I knew they were just outside the top 10. Luca, though, on the move, getting himself up there.
Paulie actually got up to where Jarzakrak was and then had a little shuffling, so he got shuffled back.
Okay.
Norberg essentially was 5th throughout the whole last at least 5 laps, I want to say, sitting back there behind Jarzakrak. Jarzakrak was going against Arscott. I thought he was going to get Eves, didn't quite get there. And so I think Jarzakrak got to 3rd at the highest point because, again, Eves and Morris kind of were the leaders of the pack throughout the main event.
So I'll lay it to you in a second because here's Eves. Eves gets there and he's going to try to go to the lead to see if he can hold on to the lead, right? And he's got, like Jace Park, making that move over the ski jump, right-hand 7 and turn 8, and Eves pounced a couple times on Bryson Morris, able to get the spot. But when Morris on that last lap, of course, Eves is right there. They were going back and forth a little bit. I think Eves may have had a better shot at it. But I think Jarzakrak was right there. They were all right on top of him, so he couldn't do a clean over-under. I think he was probably worried about getting taken out from behind. Not able to get the over-under because you said, though, in that green corner, which is turn 13 in this particular configuration.
I don't want to spoil it for Bryson because we got 5 more rounds.
But you say he likes to pass in that corner.
He loves passing in the green corner. I think it's a Newcastle local favorite corner because I've seen the Adams brothers do it as well. I've even seen some cadet drivers do it there too. Again, because if you're in a group of drivers, if you can get by at the green corner, that allows that driver to get pressured from everybody else on the scoreboard, possibly giving you a gap going into the I-7.
And that's the key of these deals, right? If you can make that, making that pass isn't that great if a guy tucks right in behind you, but if you can make a pass and it kind of starts the schmozzle behind you, really starts to kind of jumble up things behind you, that's when you're able to pull away. Like you said, if you come out of scoreboard and you got guys diving in and you get that gap, that's really what like it ends up being a 1/10 of a second at the line for Morris over Eves. Eves did the over-under over in the I-70 hairpin, but they were all on top of him again. Somebody dropped the wheel there. I don't think it was a clean over-under from where we are, a long way away. But Eves wasn't able to get the big run, and he actually had a pretty good run on other times, but he wasn't able to get it done. And Bryson Morris is now an X30 senior Pro Tour winner. Pretty big.
Well, again, won junior last year here during the SummerNationals. And again, when you race at the home track, it's a little bit easier, more comfortable. You have that confidence again to be able to battle against former winners and former champions.
Here's a question here, and I don't know. Carlos asks, how many international drivers were there? I don't think there's any international drivers here, right?
Well, there's drivers from Brazil. There's drivers from Bermuda. A couple from Canada.
Well, Louis Westover couldn't come over to run with Mexico. Remember, Louis Westover couldn't come over.
When you say international, drivers who are not United States.
But how, again, I guess my question is, how long have you been here for? Have they been here for 3 months, whatever it may be? Louis Westover was trying to come over for Solo Kart USA. That's why they brought Trey Brown into the game. Trey ended up in 23rd. So really not a lot of international drivers, to be honest. Mike Smith asked the question, aside from SummerNats, how often has this configuration been used? I think it's only the second time they've used the Super Mile, right?
No, they've done this layout.
Oh, they have? Oh, okay. I thought
it's a regular in the club series.
The whole thing? Oh, okay.
Well, essentially, yeah.
I thought the whole real thing last year was SKUSA came out with they were the only ones that have ever done it. That's why they call it the SKUSA Super Mile. All right.
Because they came up with a catchy name. It's their own. No.
Ouch, the shade.
Just being honest.
Well, you're
being honest.
But do you know for sure? Do you think?
Know for sure.
As my dad used to say, do you think or do you know?
I know.
Oh, wow. Here we go. He knows.
I know.
Jim Conlon says, yeah, club races 4 or 5 times a season. Jim would know.
See?
Well, I trust him, not you, Cole. I just don't trust you.
Now, mind you, maybe when they come back to the national course, they turn left instead of going towards Sell. But what's the difference, right?
It's not the same track.
But they've done this layout.
All right. John Bernardo says Oliver Hodgson couldn't get over after winning Kartmaster UK. So, yeah, there's a couple of guys. You said he ran the configuration 3 years ago. Did you actually run it, like as in a marathon, Jason, or did you actually?
Well, it's the Ironman course, essentially.
There you go. All right. See?
I'm not lying.
Hashtag
probably Tony Lenowski ran this.
Hashtag prove it, Cole.
I'll ask Tony. He's a terrible fantasy football player. I'll ask him tomorrow.
That's very true, but he's got a T-shirt that says he beat you. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably pink.
All right, folks, we're wrapping up here. Fuck, this is gonna be. Well, at least just making dinner. It's gonna be a half an hour. We're out. It's 48 minutes right now. Guys, anybody got any more questions for us right now? We'll throw it out here. If you have any other questions.
Beard or no beard, we'll do it again. I didn't shave.
Damn beard.
I can.
Unless your wife comes on here and says what we should do with the beard.
I'm sure she's at the beach right now.
Having a margarita. We're down to 12% power on my laptop. We didn't.
That's why you want to.
We didn't charge it up either. We'll do that next. All right, folks. Nobody else throwing any more questions out. Mike Smith says, "Love what you do. Have a good night." Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. Mike Smith.
Yeah, it's 5:40 there. That means he's probably on beer 30.
Yeah, probably.
No.
All right. Grayson Eve says, "Can you drive?" Who is he? I think
probably he's asking you.
I think he's throwing shade at Jason Ewers. That's I think what's happening right there.
Jason Ewers can't drive.
Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Wow. Harsh. All right, so folks, first race in the books. We got 2 more coming. 2 more full days. My voice feels pretty good. I got a couple of crackies. What are you doing, Cole?
Letting you talk.
I worry about you.
Oh,
all right.
No, what? COVID space.
From COVID. All right, we're done, folks. Here from the Airbnb in Newcastle, Indiana. We'll be here for 16 days, and then back for another 5 days.
Isn't that weird to say?
What?
16 days.
Like we're literally here for. We leave. I leave. I think we get out of here on the Thursday morning to head to the hotel for the 500. So.
And I don't even get to go to the.
Yeah, and then Alicia can't even come to the 500 right now. They are locking us down. I'm going to be by myself on pit lane for IndyCar Radio, just the 4 of us down there. But the 500 will happen. Hope you guys listen on radio. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining us here in the debrief. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll have something else for dinner. We're not sure what it's going to be.
Maybe other product placements behind us.
We'll have a different product placement behind us right now. But Bacardi, if you want to sponsor this broadcast, we'd be more than happy to talk to you. Oh, there you go.
Here's Cole's other sponsor.
This is a personal sponsor to David Cole. Doritos,
the Gatorade?
Doritos and Gatorade and Cheerios and
Tombstone. I could be like a whole NASCAR.
Yep.
Like
put it on the car.
I sure do love my Tombstone pizza.
That's right.
Tombstone right over my visor.
This Tombstone visor is dangerous and inconvenient.
Wait, hold on.
Let's
wrap it up.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Yes, Alicia and David Cole brought to you by Tombstone. Oh my God. Thank you very much for joining us, folks. We do appreciate it. We're again 9:10 tomorrow morning. We're back on with qualifying for race number 2 here. We look forward to having you guys tune in. Anytime throughout the day, if you want to have any information, DM David Cole and I or myself private, send it to eKartingNews.com. We'll make sure we take care of you.
In the DM.
There it is. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. We're done for the day. You want that, Dave?
Yeah.
Thank you. David Cole, Rob Howden. Book it.